Hello,
Hello,
everyone,
everyone.
and welcome to a very, very, very exciting moment, a historical moment, a moment that will go down. I would go as far as to saying changing football media entirely. And I think this buzz is going to carry us through the darkest of times, and they've decided to show themselves within the first episode itself. And I cannot wait to get stuck into it. Grizz, I'm sure you're feeling excited too, man. How you feeling?
Um, honestly, if honestly speaking, I'm so happy I'm here with new friends. Like, like Liverpool's an old friend, isn't it? Like Liverpool's long time, yeah. And Liverpool's, you've seen the highs and lows of Liverpool. You keep watching Liverpool, the good and the bad, and they drag you here and they drag you there emotionally. I'm talking about. So sometimes it's good to have new friends to talk about other stuff in life and football as well. So for me, as you said, this is a historical moment for me, man. I'm on my own channel, but I'm with new friends, new family, and let's do this, man. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to have you guys on my platform. But yo, I'm honored, man, and we're gonna talk, and hopefully, new friends can start re-energizing. You know what I mean? Old emotions.
Wonderful. And those new friends that Grizz is very much referring to are two brothers of mine who scrap, get into the dirt and fight their way out with me on a weekly basis. Krish, how are you, my bro?
I'm good, man. I don't think I could have heard a more poetic and more emotionally charged intro. It's exactly what we need to do to the Liverpool squad, what we exactly planned. Old faces, new people to re-energize. I've been looking forward to this collab for so long now. It's been a long time coming. And yeah, I mean, hopefully we can storm on this season, much like the Reds can do with their charge.
Definitely. And last but by no means least, one of the true stars of the KopEndFracas brand. Pete, how we doing, my brother?
Do you know what? Yeah, if I said I'm good, I would be a true liar.
Right.
I'll be a true liar. So let me not even say I'm good because I'm not. I mean, I'm here, obviously, like Grizz said, with some new friends, and I'm hoping to have a therapy session. I'm hoping to get it all off my chest, pause, and yeah, let's have a good one. Let's have a good, yeah.
Yeah, man. So I think, do you know what? I think we've got lots of people joining us. Everyone who's in the comments, big love to you. If you're not familiar with some of us, of course, Grizz himself requires no introduction, but us being lucky enough to share the space with him, we are the KopEndFracas boys. We are a group of very, very passionate Liverpool fans who are from a range of backgrounds, a range of ages, a range of work as well that links in with the club and helps us with our perspective. Grizz has been on our spaces before. He's been working closely with us. We work with lots of familiar faces in the Liverpool space. Some ex-players as well that you'll be able to hear on the pod, which is super exciting. So yeah, make sure you follow us. I'm sure Krish and Pete are gonna throw in the links for you to be able to engage with our content. And it's not just the start of our brotherhood with Grizz, it's the start of our relationship with all of you. So yeah, really excited about it.
100%. I just want to add.
Yeah, go ahead, Grizz.
I just want to add. Yeah, 100%, guys. The links are in the description. Of course, Mush has told you about what they do. What they do is speak about Liverpool, and today is a Liverpool show. It's a predominantly Liverpool channel, so go and check them out. They're doing great work, as Mush has said. And yeah, you're gonna get familiar with these people. Go and check them out. Go and follow their socials. They're all in the description. Give them a like. Give them a follow. And tell them about themselves, man. You know what I mean? Everyone needs a boost now and again. You understand? So go and tell them about themselves. There's nearly 350 already reviewing here. Smash up the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe to them. Subscribe to me if you haven't. If you're here to take the piss, it's calm, no problem. The bigger you are, you know what I mean? The harder you fall, isn't it?
We're built different, Grizz. We can take it. Don't worry about it, man.
It's not a problem. But yeah, that's what I want to say. Make sure, go and like, go and subscribe. KopEndFracas.
Awesome. So, boys, I think we've already got a bit of a crowd building up. So I think to start with, before we really get into the the latest news, which is of course the Lavia drama, I want to talk about the fact that we've seen Liverpool on the pitch. We've actually managed to see us play in a serious game, and couldn't be more serious than our modern historic biggest rivals, I would say, in Chelsea. You know, lots of context behind that. And both teams had a fresh, you know, set of players that were coming into the game. Chelsea with a fresh manager, a lot of unknowns. So I think with the excitement and the optimism, there were some nerves as well. I guess the first thing is with the lineup, we've spent weeks predicting how we're going to go into the season. Krish, what did you think of how we actually lined up for that game?
It was pretty spot on from the last preseason game, wasn't it? In the 11 that he put out. A little bit surprised by the Gakpo midfield selection, but I feel that's been something he's been tweaking for a while. But I mean, apart from that, and you look at kind of what we've got available to us at the moment, no Bajcetic, no Thiago, it's kind of like holding some of the midfield positions, is maybe the best we probably could have done. All out attack going on, you know, against Chelsea. You know, attack sometimes is the best form of defense. So I think it was the right call at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, the Gakpo one was probably the biggest surprise because he has had a great preseason. I don't want this. I think a lot of people have jumped on him having a tough time out of his regular position, you know, not playing too well. But Pete, there were players who really stepped up with the hype that was building up behind them. We saw Diaz score an incredible goal against Bayern. We wanted to see more of that. We know there's talent, but we wanted there to be production and deciding of games. How do you feel Diaz started that game?
I felt so Diaz. I think I'm more of a mixed bag of Diaz in terms of obviously he gets the goal right, and it's a fantastic goal because he peels off Reece James, peels off the back of Diaz as well, and it's something we've been wanting to see from Diaz in terms of like him. No, that's like a Mane-esque goal in terms of him getting in behind the defense and him finishing it. And with Diaz, the thing that we've seen with him in the Liverpool shirt is that sometimes doesn't get in behind defenses enough. And sometimes he likes to get the ball to feet and he likes to dribble, take guys on, but that end product sometimes isn't always there. And that goal was something that I really, really liked from him in terms of showing that desire to get in behind, showing that desire to even, like he slid to reach it, innit, almost. So that desire to get a goal was fantastic. And I love to see that. A fantastic pass from Mo Salah, by the way. Absolute dime of a pass. Like if Kevin De Bruyne does that, we'll be there, like, you know, saying, wow, what a pass. And Salah's playmaking back.
I've been doing my wows, man. Don't worry, man.
Yeah,
Mo, for me, we're talking about an all-time great. This isn't a player. People put him in with a group that they do not deserve to be uttered in the same sentence as someone like Mo Salah. But we will get further into that. I know that Pete's edging to talk about the actual moments in the game. Grizz, I do want to come to you.
Diaz.
Sorry. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, just in terms of that Diaz was just like, so obviously he gets the goal. But my thing with that left-hand side, I don't think it worked to its optimal. Like it didn't work properly because I felt like Sterling and James were doubling up on Robertson a lot in that first half, especially. And I feel like Gakpo and Diaz weren't doing enough to help Robertson, and he was really isolated in that aspect in that area of the field. So I feel like Chelsea's right-hand side was really dangerous. And I feel like Diaz could have helped Robertson a bit more, tracking James, and that kind of, obviously, that three at the back, it kind of caught us off guard because I know that Pochettino didn't really play it in pre-season. So I feel like we obviously set up for them to play a 4-3-3, right? But that five at the back, that wing back kind of caught us off guard, and I don't think we adjusted well, especially that left-hand side. So, a mixed bag of Diaz, really.
Yeah, I think I do want to step back, though, because I want to break up that first half into sections, right? So, Grizz, I would say the first 25 minutes, you could not complain from minute one about how Liverpool came out the blocks, right? Me and you especially have been really excited about seeing two of our new midfielders coming in. And I felt in that first 25 minutes...
Only two new midfielders.
Yeah, only. I didn't want to include that word, but we'll get onto that as well. But in terms of seeing Mac, in terms of seeing Szoboszlai, what did you make of them in that first 25 minutes?
Yeah, look, first, I've totally forgotten. People, happy Independence Day to the Pakistani people in the chat. Brothers and sisters, completely forgot. So shout out that, man. Thank you very much, P60, for reminding me about that. First half an hour or 25 minutes, electric, man. It was like the pace, the intensity, the energy. That was Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah. And how quickly the ball moved, right? It was all one touch, two touch, right?
Yeah. You know, Chelsea really couldn't, because you got to remember, Chelsea were probably eagerly as or eagerly as motivated, new manager, new beginnings, new players. So you got to remember, this wasn't the Chelsea from last season that were dead food. This was Chelsea that had ambitions of themselves as well. So we started off, we dampened the atmosphere. If there was any atmosphere at the bridge, we dampened it very, very quick. It was calm. I just thought everyone was comfortable on the ball. We were pressing like demons. My only criticism would be we were careless. We were careless in the final pass.
Yeah, wasteful. I would say wasteful even.
Massively.
We had chances to create better chances, if you know what I mean. Do you understand? So the chances we had and the situations we had were good, but we should have made more clear-cut chances. That was my only criticism. We take the lead, of course. You guys described that goal. It was such a Sadio Mane-esque goal. Even the finish. How many times have we seen Sadio cutting from there and do what he needs to do to get on the ball? He just does what he needs to do. If it's with the outside of his foot, toe of his foot, heel of his foot, whatever. So that was encouraging. We've already been speaking about Salah's playmaking ability. It's going to come to fruition this season, I think. We started off like a literal house on fire.
And I think that weirdly, even though we started off so quickly, the way we got the goal was from us being composed, from us actually thinking and slowing down a bit. And the main reason we were able to control our emotions and slow ourselves down was, for me, in the Liverpool shirt, the true dictator of the game, a certain Alexis Mac Allister, who I thought was absolute class to watch, right? Oozing, every touch was intentional, got him into space, the right pass. Krish, what a debut from a man who had a huge responsibility in that first game.
It was a battle of two Argentinian gauchos, wasn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah.
I mean, wow. Like, really, honestly, first game of the season, they swapped shirts after. I think that tells you how kind of the game recognizes game at the end of it. But no, I mean, Peter was probably the first one to kind of put me on this. When we were linked and kind of, when we were eventually going to sign him, called him Baby Gundogan. And that's kind of what he is, the technical ability, how secure he is, how he can slow that game down, and it revolves around him and he has it on strings. We've been crying out for a midfielder like that for so long. And it's just so nice to kind of see us have someone like that who can link up the play from the midfield to the defense and calm everything down. And honestly, it was so good. So good.
And how many times were there, Krish, where, Mac Allister receives the ball and suddenly there's two men on him and you think he's not getting out of this. And then, 5 or 6 little touches to wriggle out. It was, maybe I've been starved of this, but it was a technical masterclass, wasn't it?
We're starved, man. We've been starved. That's as you was talking, I was thinking, do you know what? It's mad, isn't it? How we've been starved of this. Like, we've seen Thiago, but we haven't seen enough of Thiago.
Definitely.
Yeah. Before that, we saw Naby, but we just didn't see enough of Naby. That's it. Naby and Thiago. The rest of our midfield has just been energy, for days, legs, work rate, all of that business. But so when you got a man like Mac10 in there,
What are you feeling about Mac, Grizz? I can sense a love affair already. What's going on?
I'm gonna be very honest with you. Yeah, I think he's a fantastic player, but I've always wanted another profile of player to come alongside him, and we still wait. Of course, we still wait for another, and we know the profile of player that I want. But it's so obvious. Put someone with legs, energy, strength, brute force, nastiness alongside Mac Allister. And we could be talking Mac Allister being one of the potentials for player of the season. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not overreacting. I'm telling you, if he gets the right components around him, because that's not his position yesterday, guys. That's not him. That's not his game. That's not exactly. So you put the one demon that we're looking to go alongside.
Even Enzo had Gallagher next to him doing that work. We didn't even have a Gallagher level player to help.
We were supposed to have.
That's really impressive.
No, but we were supposed to have Trent alongside him to play as a double pivot. Even Trent wasn't there. Trent didn't play as a double pivot. I don't know what you lot thought, but we played 4-3-3 yesterday.
Yeah. Go on, Pete. You had something you wanted to add to that.
Just in terms of Mac10, as we call him, I love the way, like, when he receives the ball, his body shape is always like just in the right is perfect. Like he's receiving it on a half turn. You know, sometimes like just by the way you receive the ball, it can put you into trouble because like when opponents press you, if you're not facing the right way, like for example, Gallagher sometimes obviously he wasn't used to playing that deeper role, so he'd receive it and his back's to goal, and once his back is to goal, like that's Szoboszlai's on him pressing him, Salah's on him pressing him, but Mac10 when he receives the ball, it's in a perfect position and he's able to find the player.
And the other thing is as well, you have to foul him to get the ball. To win the ball, you have to go through him. That's how clever he is
100%.
with using his body.
Even in those, we had periods in the second half where we didn't really have the ball, or like we was kind of being rushed on the ball. But every time it got to McAllister, he always found the person, like always found the man, like and. When others weren't calm around him, he was always a common influence. And I feel like on the ball yesterday, obviously we know that he's not actually a defensive midfielder. So sometimes, he might get caught out or he might not be able to keep up with someone's, strength or pace. But on the ball, in terms of his work and finding opponents and his passing, fantastic. Even his pass for the goal. So he finds Salah.
It wasn't a floater, was it? It completely changed the pace of the move, didn't it, Pete?
Yeah, like Kobo was even kind of tight to Salah, but he still found him. And then obviously Salah, great touch as well. So like, yeah, he's a fantastic player. He just like oozes composure, oozes class. And like Briz says, once we actually see him in a more advanced position, higher up the pitch, yeah, we could be looking at a special player. I feel like he'll be a lot of the fans' favourites for sure.
Just very, very quickly, if you want to move on, I was just going to say about that pass. How many times have we seen those passes looped up? Now, I'm not slandering Fabinho just because he's gone.
No, that's Henderson. That's a Henderson special, Grizz. That's a who's Henderson special.
Henderson, Keita, and Fabinho, yeah? Them passes are looped out there. McAllister, you touched upon, whizzed it.
And it gives the opposition a time to get themselves set when it's looped, right?
Exactly. And even though Colwell, like Peter said, Colwell was tight on him, he's still, or I don't know if Mush said it, one of you said it, even though Cole was fairly tight to him, the pass was whizzed at such a pace, and obviously the control had to be immaculate from Salah. It killed like any chance of a press early. Yeah, I thought it was small things, but they make such a difference. McAllister was doing the small things that maybe we don't always notice, but it helps.
Those small things add up to a lot, though, right? And I think that's the big thing here. We're talking about a player who. That 5% you didn't get from our midfield is becoming chances and it's becoming quality. And when we talk about quality, Pete, you've already brought him up with the creation of the goal. But we also saw, and Chris, I'll come to you for this, we saw a man in Mohamed Salah now coming to, people are now starting to creep in with the, is he past his best in terms of age, dialogue, all of this stuff. I mean, what I would say, every summer when the Mohamed Salah yacht pic comes out with, it seems to be an extra set of abs every time he posts, on the yearly basis. He hit the bar, he created another 2 chances, and he had another great chance himself. How important was it to see Mohamed Salah integral to us being able to score goals yesterday?
It's always important. I mean, he's our main threat. He's our main kind of like creator on that right-hand side. Coincidentally enough, when the annual boat pick drops, that's when I usually cook carbs in my diet as well. So that's an interesting fact for the listeners there. But no, I mean, having him switched on, and the purpose of which he plays with, the intensity, the ferocity. I mean, I think we all kind of like Levi Colwell as a footballer. I feel like, especially in KopEnd. What he did to that poor boy in the first half was one of the most ferocious things I've ever seen. He was on him. He was giving him a tough day at the office. It was going to be a lot,
isn't it?
For sure. And just seeing him being able to do that, and we've seen him do it against experienced centre backs. We've seen him do it against experienced fullbacks. That man is a timeless great, and for us to be kind of questioning his desire and the impact he has at this point it's kind of counterproductive. But when he hit the crossbar, I was like, "Ooh, this is going to be one of those days." But when he kind of fizzed that ball through, pinpoint, like that telepathic connection he used to have with Mane to Diaz, we just knew what time he was on for that, and hopefully for the rest of the season.
Definitely. But the game did flip, and after all of this quality that we saw, Grizz, I'll come to you for this, because one thing that Chelsea, I thought Poch really showed really good way of adapting in the middle of the game was he obviously spotted that Liverpool are getting joy because Gakpo is pushing on from midfield. Szoboszlai is pushing on. And all he asked Sterling and Chukwuemeka to do is just stay behind them. Just stand in that space that they're going to operate in and just exploit the spaces behind. And what that also allowed Reece James and Chilwell to do is push up. And suddenly, like Pete said, Robertson's dealing with 2-on-1s. Do you think that happened because of anything Liverpool did kind of wrong tactically? Or do you think it was just Chelsea growing into the game after a difficult start?
I think it was a combination, you know, and I definitely think it was a result of having basically two attackers as your eights. Like, there's no way you're calling Gakpo a midfielder. There's no way you're calling Szoboszlai a midfielder. They're attackers. Their instincts are pure to get the ball and attack in every situation. They never think backwards. Of course, the team players, they run back.
They'll do the work.
There's a difference between, you know what I mean, innit, right? There's a difference
yeah.
running, right, but actually having defensive awareness. Yeah. So they're runners, Gakpo and especially Szoboszlai. Like, everyone knows about his work rate and that, you know, the energy in the guy. I just thought, this is where I look back and I think to myself, wow, our midfield's pressing was so organized and structured, and it wasn't just fluky. It wasn't just chase the fucking ball. You understand? When we used to see Gini, Fabinho, and Henderson in their prime, teams weren't allowed out for 9 minutes. Yeah, Brexit, but the organization and the
there was method behind it, though, wasn't it?
Yesterday was that first half hour, it was energetic and frantic, like we spoke about, but you could see they were overdoing it, and soon they were going to tire, and they had to play with their heads. And that's when, I don't know if you're going to mention the guy, Enzo Fernandez took over the game, I thought, because our guys were, I'm not blaming them. You have to blame the system and the coach. But I thought Gakpo and Szoboszlai and McAllister were just too eager to think forward, attack, press.
Yeah,
There was no defensive awareness between three of them, and obviously, as a result.
Yeah, and do you know what? You've raised such a good point here, and Pete, I'll ask you about this, because one thing I was kind of worried about when I was watching that game is, like Grizz says, Enzo started getting on the ball, and it seemed like every other touch of a Chelsea player was Enzo, right? And I thought that players like Szoboszlai and Gakpo were more focused on getting in space in case we won the ball than actually having the humility away from home to negate the best players of the opposition, cutting the passing lane off to Enzo so you can at least limit what he can do with the ball. Why do you think we were so buccaneering in how we wanted to play rather than also being cautious of what Chelsea could do?
It's a simple answer, Mosh. We have a team full of forwards. Like, we literally have a team full of forwards and attackers and risk takers. That's the main thing. So these guys are risk takers. Like you said, they want to be on the attack. They're forward thinking. And with a midfielder, like a natural midfielder, Mosh, you would know this, like, you're aware of runners. Like, you track runners. You press with an intensity. You pick your moments. And with attackers, they want to, be direct. They want to win the ball. They want to poach at every attempt. But, midfielders, remember midfielders, like, they know that they have to pick their battles. Like we said, like, they have to save their energy, and they have to know when they can poach the ball. Like, they have to know, they're around their surroundings. So people like Gakpo, like Grizz was saying, he's got energy, and he obviously wants to run around, but he's not aware, of runners behind him. He's not aware of the right spaces to be in, acknowledging the 2v1s, because a midfielder, they just naturally know that they have to kind of, do that work and do their due diligence. So it's not through any fault of themselves. It's just that we don't have the defensive-minded players. And when you have defensive-minded players, I feel like when the defensive-minded players play, they're quite pessimistic, and attackers are optimistic. So with defensive-minded players, they're always thinking, okay, what happens if you...
What's the worst possible outcome that can happen?
Where should I position myself if we lose the ball? Where should I position myself if this, attack potentially breaks down? Whereas attackers are always like, I want to be here so I can score this goal. I want to be here so I can, assist. So that was the problem, I thought. So that's kind of why I would have probably went with Jones, to be honest.
I was shocked that he didn't play.
I thought Klopp did get that wrong in terms of actually playing away to Chelsea. Playing away to Chelsea, playing obviously against, a team that has struggled recently, but they are probably a top side, you'd probably want to be a bit more conservative, but he went full out attack. So, I was surprised that he went Gakpo. And I think we saw the benefits in the first 30 minutes, and then we saw, we saw, the limitations.
It was like all possible outcomes within a half.
Yeah, we
wasn't
saw
it?
the weaknesses for the rest of the game.
I just felt 1-0. Even if we went 2-0, even if we went 2-0 up, I just don't think we had the know-how to control the game.
We had to blow them away, Grizz. That was the only way we could win, was by blowing them away 3-4-0 in the first 30, 40 minutes.
And then,
so that was the only.
I guess you've hit on something here, and Chris, I'll come to you. You talked about defense-minded, right? And that gives me the chance.
Taking the lead, people are letting us know.
Yeah. I mean, they were so shocking, and they're so shocking in the first half. I don't know what they've got to show about.
How are they leading? But it is what it is.
Yeah. Oh well. In terms of our defenders themselves, Chris. Now, rightly so, Virgil has come under the spotlight for how he played last season. Extra spotlight because of the captaincy. Konate, it's always about, can you get him on the pitch? There were, from that half an hour onwards, they were asked to do a lot of defending, right? Reece James, fantastic deliveries constantly, doubling up on Robertson. Couldn't really blame Robertson when he's got so much to do. But there was a lot of balls coming into that box that they had to deal with. How do you think they dealt with it? And what do you think that told you about the defense looking forward through the season?
Listen, when I saw Virgil van Dijk do a slide tackle for the first time in God knows how long,
cut a through ball.
I realized that captaincy's changed him. You know what I mean? It's turned him into a completely different person. But I think for him in particular, that was his best game I've seen for God knows how long. Maybe 2022 in terms of being him. It is imperious best, where you kind of had the feeling that the aura was back. His positioning, the way he was kind of flexing at defenders, winning all of his duels was perfect. I mean, the interesting one is, kind of the physical battle between Konate and Nicholas Jackson. Obviously, we know in this new system, obviously we try and push him up a lot more. Konate's got a lot more to do. He's got to cover so much space that we have serious concerns about his soft tissue injuries that he might pick up as a result of that. But I thought he did really well. Positioning wasn't rash at any point. At no point did you feel like they were going to get in behind. And when they did in those chances with Jackson, he was there to kind of fight that physical battle and kind of put him off with some strong goalkeeping. My only worry, and you kind of touched on it earlier on, was Andy Robertson. Now it was a consistent theme through pre-season. It was a consistent theme through a lot of kind of towards the end of last season.
It's this rushing in thing, right?
Yeah.
Where do you think this is coming from? Because I don't think when Robertson was at his best, it was always about go, go, go. It seems to be now his only solution for defending is to try and cut off the pass or rush in, and he seems to be beaten at it all the time. Why do you think he's just stopped assessing situations and always going to that?
He used to have cover, right? Prime Liverpool. He had cover in Fabinho. He would kind of cover that half space and even
Gini as well.
And Gini,
Gini was right next to him.
So hopefully, when we kind of figure out what we're doing and McAllister's there, he can do a little bit of that covering work. But it has to be instruction, surely, because there's no way that he's been told to kind of consistently bomb forward and leave that much space behind, because it was automatic every time the Chelsea are on the ball. That two-man link-up that they had, with Reece James and Sterling. Sterling in particular, I thought had a really good game for them yesterday. It was automatic every single time, and I kind of felt like it was one of those periods. Obviously, I know we're trying to win the ball back really quickly and then kind of hit them on the transition. That was our best chance during those periods. I just felt like he needed to drop a few yards back and just have a bit more awareness of what was going on around him. Like we're talking about, how McAllister, put his foot on the ball instead of the ship. He kind of needs to do that from just the defensive point of view when we're most vulnerable.
I think, just on the Robertson thing, man, I'm a massive Robertson fan. Massive Robertson. I love the guy.
All-time assisting defender in the Premier League. Let's not forget.
Wow. Keep forgetting that because we're so engrossed with Trent.
Yeah.
Forget about that. That's a mad stat, Well done, host. You know what I mean? But what I'm thinking, what I'm saying though, right, is I think Klopp has to criticize Robertson, of course, for the individual mistakes that he may make on the ball, right? But when it comes to the positional mistakes, I think he's learning this new system and role. He's like, is he a left back? Is he a left centre back? His game was all about what you said, assist up and down, overlapping with Sadio, probably one of the most best partnerships that I've seen in my lifetime on that left-hand side.
Definitely.
So Gini, Mane and Sadio, Gini, Mane and Robertson was a ridiculous partnership. It was like clockwork. He hasn't got that right now. Diaz is a different type of winger to Sadio. Diaz wants to give me the ball and I want to dance a little bit. I want to do
Diaz on his own shit, Grizz. Diaz is on his own wave. Hermano to Hermano wave. Like,
you get it? Do you get it? So that's still great. We haven't got that 4-3-3, so we haven't got a left-sided 8 that knows the drill. I know Chris mentioned McAllister, but do we even if McAllister plays that, do we really want McAllister covering Robertson? You know what I mean? In when we've got possession. So I think there's a lot to just give time.
He's learning on the job kind of thing, and we're watching it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're gonna have that this season. Unless we go out and buy a left centre back.
I think that's a nice way of saying that we have to replace Robertson in that left centre back role. I feel like you don't want to say it. But
left centre back, I hear it. No, left centre back, I hear it.
Are you saying there's not room for a left back still, though?
That's what
because there's going to be times where if you change the game plan, you're still going to want the best of Robertson's traits.
Yes.
I'm not saying we should sell Robertson. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if we're playing this new system, we have to commit to it. There's no point playing square pegs in round holes. There's no point.
Are we going to play it? Because that might be a debate. I don't know if that was because how did we just pull out after talking about the 3-box-3 system all last 10 games, all through preseason? I know, Chris, you smiled when I said that, but it's tactical talking. I'm learning.
I'm engrossed in the tactical talk, man.
Grizz is using that athletic subscription to the max.
3-4-3, man. I'm on that shit, right? 3-4-3. But after all of that, first game of the season, it was a straight 4-3-3.
Yeah.
No. Do you know, I do think we played the box. So I did see Trent inverting, but I don't think Trent was showing as much. I thought Trent hid a bit, if I'm honest. I thought Trent did hide a bit. In the first half, I thought he was getting on the ball a lot more. But in the second half, I didn't really see him.
I'm going to disagree with the word hid, Peter. The reason why I'm going to disagree with it is because Trent, for Chelsea and their wing-back system, where Enzo was switching it out, I think Trent, in a positive way, was so focused on making sure that Chilwell wasn't by himself, that he was the only one who sacrificed some of the ball to actually do his job properly.
I agree, but there's phases in that where we're taking goal kicks, and the gaps between McAllister and Trent is way too big. Trent should be coming to collect the ball off the centre back sometimes. He wasn't, but I agree. I think defensively Trent was quite solid yesterday. So maybe that's that's maybe something that you kind of have to take if that's going to happen. But yeah, my thing is that, like, I'm not saying that we should sell Robertson, but I'm saying if Klopp is settled on this formation, we're going to have to really commit to it. And you're seeing that with Arsenal. You're seeing that with City. Arsenal going out to get Timber because they know this is the formation that we're going to play. And Timber's going to be that, kind of auxiliary centre-back that can also play out wide. Man City have gone and bought Guardiola because Guardiola can now play in that left centre-back role along with Ake. So they are committing to those formations. Whereas I feel like with us, Klopp still has his, soldiers. He's
like wedging players in that.
Yeah, and we're trying to fit our favoured personnel into a new system, a new formation. But you have to fully commit. And I do think there'll be some games where, Robertson is needed because we probably have a lot of space on that left-hand side and we need someone to create that width. But there'll also be some games, where we need someone who's better in build-up, someone that can really play that left centre-back role and that can stay there next to Van Dijk, and make us solid. So yeah, in my opinion, I feel like we have to really commit to where we're going to play it. I'm going to have to buy someone in that kind of mode. Maybe someone like Enesio, maybe someone, I don't know, that can really, I think Luke Keeper's just gone to RB Leipzig, but someone in that kind of mode. Colwell and Guardiola obviously not attainable anymore, but yeah.
Okay.
Super chat. I just wanted to address.
Go for it, bro.
Super chat. He says this was the fourth lowest possession LFC have ever had in a Klopp era with only one shot on target. Any concerns coaching wise for you with that? Enzo was on fire.
Anybody want to take that question? I'm happy to take it. If anything, I'd be interested to actually feed it in. I think different parts of that question are answered by different things. I think the lowest possession stat was probably skewed a lot with the second half because I thought the way we tried to pass out and relieve pressure was terrible. And I think that encouraged Chelsea to always have the ball. I think a lot of that will be to do with that second half. I think with the whole one shot on target is exactly what Grizz was talking about. And I don't like singling out players, but Jota was the main culprit of the quality of pass not being there in those. There was a moment Gakpo was in on goal, he overhit it and had his head in his hands straight away. So that one shot very quickly, if Salah scores rather than hits the bar, becomes 3, 4, 5 shots. I don't think there's a concern with coaching. I think our coach is having to deal with the fact that he doesn't have the players to build a full 11 because we're missing one of the most important positions in football. So I'm not too worried about what we're doing, but the topic we're very soon coming to that I'm sure everyone's tuned in for as to why I have concerns, we are going to get there. But I do want to talk about one thing. Grizz, I want to complain to you about something positive. Wording is very odd, but I want to see what you think of this, yeah? We watch preseason, yeah? All of us here, we've all spoken to each other, and we've all said about how worrying we looked in preseason. I even asked, I said, is there a team easier to get in behind in football than Liverpool in the preseason? But why is it that in the first game of the season, where we are playing a team in a more serious setting, it felt like Van Dijk and Konate, and Trent, I'll include in that, were on a string. The distances were perfect. The ball in behind was never on in terms of, a ball over the top. Why is it that it felt different compared to what it felt like in preseason? Why was it more competent?
I'm going to be very basic and straightforward with my answer. Is because we reverted to type, guys. We reverted to the 4-3-3 that we understand. The only people that didn't understand that formation was the midfield three, and that's where we all agree we
struggled.
As our weaker struggled, right, with the possession stats, with the thing, and that's why you're very right in terms of the back four were in harmony. It was far too easy to get at them, but again, that with the forwards and
that was driving from deep, though, right? That wasn't the shape of the defense being off.
The back four done what they've been doing kind of for the last 5-6 seasons. It's the same back five. Well, Konate last season or two, but the rest know that drill, man. When you know the drill, it's far more easier. That 3-box-3 is still learning. That's why I think it was dangerous to play that yesterday. I think in a way, I know some people are saying, oh, you need to be ballsy and you need to, if you're going to commit to something, Peter was saying you need to go for it, whatever. I get that and I hear that. But I think yesterday, it was maybe a smart decision. I don't know what you guys think, to revert back to that for the opening game. You ain't got the personnel that you want really yet. You're going to Chelsea, hyped up Chelsea.
Keep some familiarity, is that what you're saying?
What's his name? Jackson. Yeah, Jackson.
Yeah, Nicholas Jackson.
Yeah. Let's just play the 4-3-3 that we know. I think it might have been a wise decision.
There's a really good question here, actually, Grizz, from Sukbir, saying, were the players too keen on Salah keeping up his record of scoring on the first day of the season? Why did Gakpo pass to him when he had that open angle to shoot? Pete, it was a terrible cutback to Salah. I mean, it was, I couldn't believe the weight of it because Salah just had no chance. What do you think that was the case, or do you think everyone was still determined to contribute themselves?
No, I disagree. Sorry, Sukbe. I disagree. Like, I feel like people's final pass was just off, and it can happen sometimes in football. Even saw there was a pass that McAllister, we won the ball, and then McAllister overhit to Nunes, and then Nunes had a bad touch as well that we couldn't score from it.
And McAllister again had his head in his hands because he knew it was a terrible pass.
And then Diaz as well.
Was it at Nunes' control? Which one was it? Was it?
I'm just saying, it was a horrible pass.
I'm just saying.
Nah, that should not be that pass shouldn't be off the floor. I'm sorry, Grizz. That should not be off the floor. Like, it's,
of course not.
Yeah.
But Bobby controls that, and
a certain caliber of technical player controls that, but I don't think of all people, Darwin Nunes is controlling that. But yeah, sorry, Pete. Please continue.
And also Diaz as well. I feel like he hit a pass to Salah that was kind of behind them. So I feel like it was just one of them days where our final pass was just a bit off. And if we did kind of get that sorted, we could have definitely scored a bit more. And also I feel like, just in regards to the other question about the possession, I think that is something that we kind of not have to be concerned about, but I think it's something that it needs to be watched in terms of we have a lot of risk takers in our team now. So like we have a lot of players now where they want to hit that forward pass. They don't want to do a simple pass. Like in terms of like Szoboszlai, Salah, Trent. These are players who want to get that assist. These are players that want to break the lines. And a team, I don't think you should have a team full of them. You should have a team that, you know, has risk takers, and you should also have teams that, you know, they're the glue and that they also play the simple pass. And I feel like yesterday at times when we were under the cosh, we wasn't keeping the ball enough. We was trying to go forward too quickly instead of being patient. And when you're patient, you obviously retain the possession. You get hold of the ball and you get hold of the game a bit more. So hopefully, I mean, we're going to get onto it, but these new signings, hopefully we can get someone who, you know, is a bit more cautious on the ball, that can, you know, be a bit...
Yeah.
Chris is laughing. I can't even... That whole, the transfer business, I think we have to get onto it, you know.
I will. I think the first... Luckily, the second half is very quickly summarised because we offered very little.
We tried to delay it. We tried to delay the...
Yeah.
They want it, man. They want it.
The people are
want
itching
it, man.
We're delaying the signings more than Liverpool, you know. This is ridiculous.
all I will say in the second half, Chris, will come to you for this. Really promising impact there from Harvey Elliott. And I'm talking the big things we accuse Harvey Elliott of is his physicality. We say that he can't get around the pitch because, you know, he's not the biggest, not the most athletic. But he seemed to be sniffing any time a chance to tackle was on. He'd win that ball and get us on the counter, let alone his ball quality. Is this hopefully a really good springboard for Harvey Elliott this season?
Looks like he started to believe in himself and his actual quality. I think that England under 21s has done so much for him. Obviously, we know he's done a lot for Curtis Jones and what Curtis Jones and his form in the past few months as well towards the end of the season. But it's just crazy though. Like he came on, Jones came on, and you know, actually having midfielders in there who can win the ball back and are a bit more physical, we actually were able to retain the ball and look like a competent team for the last 15 minutes of the game. But yeah, he was on it. He was super direct. He was in their face, winning the ball back. Some nice 1-2 interchanging from him. So I've got a lot of time. I've got a lot of time for him for this season, and he's going to be someone who's going to benefit a lot from us being in the Europa League. He can take a lot of the impetus on in that competition and really grow his stock and push himself into Jurgen Klopp's plans even more for this season.
Can I say something mad? And I don't even think it's that mad. You know, now I'm serious. It might be mad to a few people. Look, Harvey Elliott's you're right, Mosh. Exactly what you've been saying about the criticism of him. Like he needs to show more physicality, show more energy in the ball, be a bit more proactive and everything. You know, we spoke about McAllister being our Gundogan. Why can't Harvey Elliott be our Bernardo Silva? Tell me. That little
I would say more David Silva. Just how he plays, more David, because Bernardo is an energy bunny. I think Harvey
was an energy bunny yesterday. He was buzzing yesterday. But a combination of him. Now, obviously, I'm not comparing him to one of the all-time greats of the Premier League. But what I'm saying is our version right now, like
the profile.
The profile. You know what I mean? People might laugh, but there's something there, man.
Yeah. I hear you. And I think that was really the close of the game. Chelsea knocked on the door. Alisson rushed out a few times, but I think it was just the same story on repeat. So I want to get to the
question. Do you think Harvey Elliott is a midfielder or an attacker?
I still couldn't answer you. Honestly, I don't know.
I don't
know, man. I don't know. I don't think we know yet, or I don't know if the plan's been made for him. I'm sure there is. We just don't know it. But I can't tell you, man.
I think personally, he doesn't. Speaking honestly, I think to play as an attacker in this era of the Premier League, you need some explosiveness or a burst that creates some room for you to do things. And I would rather him play deeper and have quality to get us in nicer angles. I just don't think even someone like Salah is struggling to shift and shoot and make room. I think Harvey Elliott will find that very difficult. I'd rather see him deeper, but be clever. You know, the first pass he did when he came on yesterday was round the corner, and every Chelsea player was facing the wrong way because they did not expect him to play around the corner pass with his right foot. This is a player who does have a high technical level.
So in that case, you know that new system that we're playing, he could be very much one of the two.
Yeah, in that box. One of the four in the middle who have to play in that box that Kara and Neville were talking about Monday Night Football. I think you're looking at a guy who must never lose the ball in a rondo in training. Like, that's how, technically good he is. So, yeah, I think we're all talking about midfielders that we have, guys. But I think we're now in the main event to talk about...
Oh, penalty. Wolves.
What, Wolves? Oh,
yeah.
VAR check.
He's going to the monitor. It's the 96th minute, by the way. The 7 minutes added on.
This is a penalty.
It's reverse Fergie time, man. This is
Is it going to be given?
Please.
If he's gone to the monitor, it has to be.
Yeah,
he's going to the monitor. It's got to be.
Oh my god,
guys! Public service announcement. Sorry. We are pausing this to see the scum potentially drop some points.
Oh, we are delaying this level.
We are back.
Hey, listen, as a Wolverhampton boy, I think I'll allow it. You know what I mean?
Oh, apparently it's not been given.
Oh God, Varchester.
Oh, it's VAR. It's VAR. Okay,
that's a
mind-boggling
decision.
Keep us updated,
for God's sake. But anyway, Anana again. What is going on? I haven't got the game on. Have you got the game on?
Apparently he's came out with something, or must have been.
He's going to claim a ball, and he's like absolutely took out the lad for the Wolves, who's like 6 foot.
It's a penalty.
So it was a penalty. Yeah.
Has it been given?
But they didn't give it.
No, they didn't give it.
Oh, they didn't give it. We're getting excited for no reason. Shit.
And then Gary O'Neill got booked for going absolutely insane.
Okay.
For God's sake. Oh well. So anyway, let's talk about what we're all here to talk about. What everyone in the comments, guys, for you to hear this epic meltdown that is going to happen between 4 fully grown human beings right now, you need to press. You need to press like. You need to follow. You need to subscribe, because now is the time to do it before you lock in. Okay.
And to hear even more, click the link to the KopEndFracas podcast that will be recorded and releasing this Wednesday. So you get double paying for your money.
There you go. There you go. Don't miss out. Don't miss out. There's never enough. Now, Grizz, your eyes have narrowed in the man who's trying not to make eye contact with me, but you're going to talk about this. You are a man of optimism, Grizz. You are a man who believes. You're a man who believes that even if there's drops in the cup, then it's half full.
See what I'm saying? I don't think that's fair.
I'm saying it's a good thing. It's a good thing. You've helped me get through these last few weeks, Grizz. I'm complimenting you right now.
No. The reason why I'm saying that's not fair.
Who's helping me? Is that what you're about to say?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You guys are here to help me today. Like, I'm helping you. All right, I've been helping the channel and the community, whatever. But I don't know, Mush. I don't know.
Chris,
like,
where do we? By the way, guys, where do we start? Should we step back and talk about the Caicedo thing? Because I think both of them need to be talked about.
I think the whole window.
Yeah,
the whole
thing, man. You don't need to break it down, man.
All right. Well, we've got someone doing work experience, as our current football director for 3 months. So why don't we start talking about him? So, Krish, Big George, what has he been up to apart from activating some release clauses?
Well, apparently he's just been in Ibiza and smoking vapes in car parks by the looks of things. But that's the thing, though. It's like we can't even give him I was saying this to my dad earlier. Like, we can't even give him the McAllister transfer because that was all Julian Ward behind the scenes. He was the one who kind of did that according to everything. So his grand total of what he's done this summer is activate 1 release clause for Szoboszlai, and then just leak every single possible thing to the press under the sun. So it's admirable in a way, you know.
He's leaking it to Josh FC. What's going on?
CFC, CFC.
That's his burner. That didn't come about until he was here.
LFC,
I'm saying, man.
Oh gosh.
Hey.
And what's mad is, Pete, we've seen Liverpool as an institution, yeah. The links are very few. Whenever we seem to be linked with a player, those were the ones we were going to get. And whenever we got a player, it's because it's someone we'd been monitoring, we'd scouted, we'd done the data on everything. We now seem to be linked with 1 million players, landing nothing. What is going on with this institution? Jamie Carragher did say Liverpool have gone from having the most amazing relationship with Michael Edwards to now having 4 sporting directors within the last 2 years. So what is happening?
All I'm gonna say is that bang hit different when it's against your team, man. That bang hit different when it's against, because boy, like my head's just been in the moon, absolute moon, and it's just because of how poor we kind of been this transfer window, and it's not like us needing a defensive midfielder, us needing a midfielder has been, it's been public news. It's been needed for a while now. So in my opinion, like, what have you been doing this last year? Like, it's frantic behavior for a club who should be so organized. And my thing is that, like, okay, cool, we sold Fabinho and Henderson, because they were kind of two deals that we couldn't refuse. Okay, cool, I can understand that. But now, why is it now taking you so long to kind of agree a deal for another player in terms of, Lavia? Like, so you guys scuppered his whole preseason. You couldn't get a preseason with us. And then tried to, haggle over 4 to 5 million. Lost him in terms of, going for Caicedo and bidding 110 million, a club, a British record. And by doing that, you've now kind of, you've awoken the beast, and that is Chelsea. And they've obviously got Caicedo because they've been doing the whole groundwork with him for the last couple of months. So my thing is that, like, why have we now, walked away from Lavia to bid for Caicedo if we have no groundwork with him, had no reassurances from the player himself that he wants to come? So, that's kind of, it's a big mistake. It's a very big mistake. And by doing that, we've angered Chelsea now, who have said, oh, yeah, you want to go for Caicedo? Say less. We'll take Lavia and Caicedo. So now you're big time screwed, So now we've ended up in such a bad situation where we've ended up with, the two best options on the market, I would say, going to our fellow rivals. So it's an absolute disaster, in my opinion. Absolute disaster. And I think it's going to be quite hard to rectify that, Mush. It's going to be very hard to rectify that in terms of, who's available on the market. Obviously, I'm going to wait and see what they can do. The transfer window is not over, and, anything's possible, but it's a big fuck up. It's a big mistake. A big mistake.
I mean, Grizz, I'm going to come to you for this because, I don't know, maybe you've had the chance to speak to other people who work in football. I'm happy to admit when I don't know the workings of something. It's not my area of work. Now, I work in negotiation, but not in football, right? But I'm trying to understand the Liverpool thinking here, right? These are people who are paid a lot of money to be good at this. You've gone up 50p at a time with Lavia, right? You're trying to get to this number. And you've basically shown to Southampton, we are very much stretching to even get to the number you want. You then make a play to try and get a player worth more than double that. And you expose the fact that you have a lot more money than you've been making out. You don't land the player that you've tried to make a play for. And now you've returned to the club that you've told you have no money to. I want you to please help me try and understand what the thinking is behind that strategy. You know me, I ask difficult questions, Chris, but I have to ask you this.
Dead silence, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know. What I will say is the embarrassing part for me, anyway, personally, and each to their own. As you said, everyone has their own understanding of how they see Liverpool operate. I think this is how we've always operated. It's just that this summer has been played out in public. Every single deal, every single bid, every single point of negotiation.
Why is it so public?
I tell you what my opinion. I tell you my opinion why made it public. Michael Edwards was a don behind the scenes, and his relationship with other sporting directors from every single club was so strong. He was respected. This guy is not respected. He's been played like a fool, in my humble opinion. He's been used to negotiate. It's so apparent. It's so apparent. We've been used in the market, and it's so unlike Liverpool. Everything has been played. He is known, Big George has been known to be aggressively, or what's the word someone used in terms of his tactics in the transfer market dealings stakes. Whereas Edwards will hush, you don't hear no evil, see no evil with Edwards. Did we ever see him, hear about him, read? Maybe the odd article comes out about the nerds behind Liverpool. This guy, front, big bad George. There has to be blame attached to Jurgen Klopp. There's no doubt about this is Jurgen Klopp appointment. Are you trying to tell me the people that employ these people knew about George Schmadtke, retired? What was his club? Was it Wolfsburg?
Yeah.
He retired from there even. He wasn't even currently at Wolfsburg. You're trying to tell me our people that have made the best decisions recruitment-wise ever, right, in the last 5-6 seasons, really headhunted this guy? Please. Do you think he was headhunted? You guys all know how headhunting works. You go for, was he there? Did the computers, did they type in all the data for what they were looking for, what kind of man they look for? Did Big George come up?
This is a referral, right? This is what this is.
This is a pure referral, and that's the first sign of cracks in the system. And this is a result of that, bro. We've got the chemistry or the structure that we had in place was immaculate. And that's why all our deals were bang, 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 bang. You hear about them one night, and the following night, deal's done. We were hearing about every single thing in this situation. Mm-hmm. I genuinely believe we negotiate like this, bro. So we can't even criticize the negotiation. That's how we do our jobs. Under FSG, under the structure that we have, this is how we do it. We raise the bid by 5p every time until we get our deal or we walk away. It's just that it's in the public and we're getting flogged because everyone's realized, yo, is this how you operate? Is this how your other fans are saying, yo, is this how your owners operate? You lot are butters, man, and we are. We're nasty in the market. That's how we operate, and we've got away with it for X amount of years. And now it coincides with us coming off the worst season we've had. And on top of that, this was supposed to be the big window because of a lack of activity in the previous 3 or 4 windows. And we let so many players go. We know so many midfielders. We've been thinking about or talking about midfield planning for how many months? 12 months? 14 months? 16 months? Yet we've let 6 go, is it? 5 go? 5 go.
5 go. 5 have gone, 2 have come in.
And let me tell you for a fact, Thiago would have been gone if it wasn't for the others going. Thiago would have been gone. We were ready to accept offers. So that would have been, obviously, Fabinho, we didn't want to let go. So swap for Fabinho for Thiago. But still, that's 5 midfielders in your head that you know are going, yet you're still scrambling and making crazy bids with what? 10 days to go, 12 days to go in the window, something like that. Whatever, 2 weeks to go in the window. It's madness. I have no explanation. I'm trying to justify it from a logical point of view, but even the logics are defied.
But okay, then there's still there's parts that don't make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Krish, like ultimately, one thing we know about Liverpool is when the data pulls out a list of who we should be going for, right? Mm-hmm. Jurgen Klopp has always wanted, or when you look at most of our successful signings, always brings them in early on in the window. So you get that full preseason, you learn how we play, you integrate, your body is conditioned to be ready to play in the way we want to play. What is baffling me is the length of time that these negotiations have been taking. It has never taken this long for us to negotiate. And then the other part is we're losing out on the people we want. So surely the players we're linked with now are players we haven't even wanted in the first place. So what is going on in this whole negotiation process that we have?
I feel like it's a combination of 2 things. I mean, first and foremost, we're maybe not looking at the spreadsheet too much. Maybe.
So you're saying we're almost drifting away from the data strategy?
I mean, they shouldn't be, but it kind of feels like they are. Every single target we've been linked to, in a sense, kind of recently, doesn't match up with the philosophy and kind of what we want to do. We either buy low and then build them up, but we never go for kind of like that ready-made article kind of thing. So I don't know what the talent ID is kind of going on at the moment. There's been so many opportunities in the past 18 months where it's been weird where we kind of passed up on these footballers. I look at Bruno G as the prime example of that.
Oh,
perfect footballer. Leon, it's like, what the hell are they selling him for? It's one of those ones where you kind of think we should be involved in that conversation and we kind of bring him through.
By the way, we made another attempt at Bruno G in this month. By the way,
serious?
Yeah, we made another goal.
The price is like quadruple, like tripled at least, though. Surely.
70 million. We said, yeah. They said, get out of here. Get out.
Yeah.
We're just
Well, it's
sending
the same- it's
DMs.
the same-
We're just sending DMs to baddies and getting rejected left, right, center.
Every day, man. We can't cover the tab at the bar. Why are we doing this? It's insane. And the whole personification of this is like we've been using like Chouamani, some kind of like weird fullback fulcrum, even though he's never gonna leave. He said no last summer, and then it comes out today that we've still got keen interest. That guy's not leaving, man. He's in the promised land. He's not leaving that. That's his dream. He's never gonna leave. Yeah, it is. It's
what is it about this price point though? Like Peter, we have had 4 players that we have tried to get on the big money, right? We've had Bellingham, we failed. Chouamani, we failed. Caicedo, we failed. Enzo Fernandez, we failed, right? What is it about this big money statement signing when we are in the market up against others? Why are we the ones who are always losing out?
So I'm not sure when we would have had to. Enzo, I don't think we could have afforded at the time. I don't think the owners, gave the sign off to sign him. Bellingham, we decided that apparently we wanted to, share out the money in terms of get other signings, prioritize, multiple other signings. Not sure how true that is. Maybe just chose Real Madrid over us. Who knows? But my thing of Caicedo, we didn't put any of the groundwork in. There's no way you can sign the £100 million player without talking to him months prior to,
with no buy-in from the player himself.
Yeah, convincing him. No, but it's just about convincing him, talking to his family, translating a picture to him. What's his plans for the future? Where do you see him? Where do you see him playing? What's the project is to him? We saw Bellingham. He was at the final. Zidane took him to the final. And that was, Madrid putting in the groundwork to sign him. And with Caicedo, we thought we can just, strong arm and bully our way into the transfer. Football doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And especially not for a club like Liverpool, where, we're built on kind of that spirit. We're built on that kind of that passion. We aren't guys who, splash money out and stuff like that. We're built on, these kind of morals. So we just didn't put enough groundwork in for Caicedo, and we thought we could strong arm Chelsea, who that's not possible. They're a lot richer than us. That wasn't possible. And the person we did do the groundwork with, Lavia, who was sold on coming to us, sold on the project, sold on, being our number 6 for the future, we ghosted him. We literally
How
ghosted
must
him.
that feel for us to openly be courting you, then openly take interest in someone else, and then have the nerve to come back?
Bro, let me give you an analogy, bro. Everyone will know this analogy. It's like you're talking to a girl in a club, we're talking to her the whole night, and you snuck off to the bar, and she sees you at the bar talking to another thing, and she's like, "Oh, okay, you're like that." You're like that. You're talking to another girl at the bar, and you've been chatting to her the whole night, but now you've left her, and now the girl at the bar's rejected you. So you now try to come back to the girl you've been trying to chat to, and she's like, "No, I saw what you was doing at the bar. You was doing a mad thing. Go away. That's you." So yeah, it's not nice. We treated him like a second option. And now we try to come back to him. I think we even offered more money than Chelsea did. So my understanding is
that's scary. Yeah, 60 mil. Chelsea.
Yeah, we offered them 60 million.
And are you sure we did? Or are you sure that's Chelsea's way of going?
So
we'll add some more pain onto the whole situation.
Honestly, reported that as 50 plus add-ons. So that's my understanding of it. But I'm not sure.
We were prepared. I think we were prepared. We didn't actually bid. We were prepared to go up to anything because of the desperation.
Yeah, we were desperate, which is insane.
We were prepared to go 55 plus 5. We were prepared to go up to 60 for him. But his decision was made over the weekend, because over the weekend we know what we've been doing.
Which is insane because
we've been we've been dating other girls. Or
what do you guys think? What do you guys think the benefit is of this? Grizz, you talked about how is it just that other clubs taking us for mugs in terms of how every step of a transfer is public with us, right? We were hearing when Caicedo went to the loo, when he came back, when he read a text, we heard every bit. Is it us leak? I've never seen so many Liverpool journalists actually being in the loop. Or is it the other clubs just laughing at us and exposing everything?
Yeah, we didn't leak nothing from our side, man. We're running the same way we've done. It's just we're getting exposed. That's what it is. We're getting exposed. The workings of FSG are getting exposed. People, there's a little movement starting here. I'm not joking. I'm telling you. There is a little movement starting out there. I'm telling
Sorry,
you.
I'm laughing at the comments. They're
Oh.
saying they can't see my pyramid picture. Polar bear, there you go. I hope you're enjoying it. Go on.
Pyramid, Egypt, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Went to see went to scout Mo Salah. Go on.
Yeah, I think we're getting exposed. Sorry, I've just been handed a cookie, man. You can't say no to a cookie even if you're live on air, man. But yeah, the workings.
Hey, Chris, they're feeding you well, yeah, like that. Swear, that YouTube money is good.
Stressed man, you know. Come on,
They're feeding you good.
I'm a stressed man, but yeah, Mush, I think it's the same prehistoric methods being used in big 2023 when everyone's got money, where there's nasty dark arts being used, people with money are playing influencers to do certain things. Todd Bowley and the other guy, I don't know how.
But you've got to play the game too. Surely you have to play the game too.
This is my point. I personally, and I'm only going to speak for myself, I don't speak for anyone, and I don't have any influence on anything. So I'm just going to say my opinion, what I think. I've been pleading for us as an ownership to evolve. I've never been FSG out or in, out. What the fuck is it, out or inner, right? I just want my club to win football games, a lot of them. And I want the custodians who are FSG right now, because they don't own Liverpool. They'll be gone soon, eventually, right? The club's still going to be there. I just want the custodians to do the right thing. So I've been FSG, do the right thing.
So what are those aspects, though? You said evolve. Where do you want the evolution to happen?
This is it. So the evolution has to come in within this framework of we have a value of a player, and we don't go above that value, even though we may need that. We don't react with. We're not proactive. We're reactive. We need to be proactive, because every time we do business, guys, let's be honest, we do some seriously good business when we do it. It's just we don't do enough of it, and we haven't done enough of it. Like, who's the biggest flop? Naby Keita,
Darwin at the moment, but obviously it's early.
No, we can't call him a flop.
At the moment, that's what I said. At the moment,
Chamberlain.
You're gonna call him a flop like that? I don't know, man. It's okay. Jury's out. Fair enough, no problem. But very rarely, anything above 30 million, we've got a great strike rate. It's just that we haven't got enough strikes. We need to do more striking, man.
Well, we don't take enough shots. That's
don't
the main thing. It's not about strikes.
That's
we're risk averse club to football, and it annoys me so much. I mean, the one thing that kills me is we've had such a good relationship with like the Red Bull sporting model over the past few years. It stuns me that we've never looked to replicate that.
Tell me how you work that out from what I just fucking said.
He didn't listen. He didn't listen. That was the point.
He said it's on the Mars.
I just cussed the shit out of it, saying it's old, it's prehistoric, they haven't evolved, and he's saying, is he a spokesman? Bro, Javi, just smash the like, man, and leave.
Go on, Chris.
You're on the payroll, bro. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Go on, Chris. You were making a point then.
So there was a whole kind of like knowledge sharing thing that kind of went on, and again, that was when Michael Edwards was here to notice the common denominator kind of going on. But it baffles me that a club that likes to buy low, sell high, has never explored a multi-club model where, you know, like Chelsea have done with Strasbourg, City have done with all their different. Smash the likes if you think Chris is an FSG spokesman. That's a good one. So, like, if you want to explore these South American markets, you want to kind of pick more from, you know, developmental prospects from, you know, France or
Portugal,
anywhere, or the Nordics and stuff like that. You have to kind of evolve the model to do it through your use of clever scouting, etc. Because there's no point like picking these kids up when they're like 16, 19, either underutilizing them like we did with Fabio Carvalho for a start, or just letting them kind of go to the wayside. You have to have a model to kind of improve that, and that's something that we've massively been lacking over the years.
Yeah, and I think ultimately what all of that has led to in terms of not being able to deal commercially, like you've said, Christian, the right way, having the right relationships. Grizz, you've talked about not being able to do the dirty work to get over the line. What it's led to now, Pete, is ultimately whoever we sign is going to be a player we didn't want in the first place.
Yeah.
How do we deal with that? How and we know what Klopp is like. Klopp does a character assessment, does all of this stuff to make sure a player is the right fit. And whenever they've been a bad fit, someone like Arthur, Klopp hasn't even looked at them. How are we going to sign a player? It's going to have to be a lucky bid, right? A lucky buy for us to get it right this late in the window, surely.
You know
What's
what?
even the shortlist now?
I will say, oh yeah, I'll answer that, Chris, as well after. But like, I will say that like, we have been moving a bit different this whole window. So even my kind of like projection of Liverpool and how we normally move, keeping that bid in for Caicedo, even though we knew he wanted to go Chelsea, that's very unlike Liverpool and unlike Klopp. Like we don't normally do that stuff. If a player is not interested in coming to us, or a player's, you know, not 100% sold on our project, most of the time we're a bit like, all right, we don't want you anyway, you know, or we're like, oh, if you're not 100% sold on us, we'll take our bid out. But we kept it there. So right now I'm kind of
indifferent, bro, because we got played. We got played. That's why we kept it there. Because his people were telling us, yeah, if you can agree a deal, we'll be up for it. Because his people knew that Moises Caicedo was 100% going to leave Brighton by hook or by crook. He didn't.
Yeah,
he's leaving Brighton.
Yeah,
they weren't sure until we jumped in that they were going to be able to agree a deal. Remember, before we thought we're bad men, they were being asked 100 million and they were giving 80, 70, 75 plus. So they weren't sure that they're going to secure the Chelsea move. So his people, at the end of the day, you got to remember, this is the last year where agents can fill their boots. So his agent wanted the biggest wage packet him and his family and his generation are ever going to see. So they were like dangling him out to everyone. Liverpool saw that opportunity and thought, oh, are you not secured with Chelsea? They said, no, if you can strike a deal with Chelsea, we'd be up for it. Liverpool thought, Liverpool can be smart. Let's go for it. You can't blame them at that stage. But what you can blame them is where they fucked up the relationship with Lavia and his people at the same time. We didn't know how to be smart. We weren't streetwise. We weren't sharp. We got used and abused. There's no other way of putting it.
I mean, there's some people in the comments saying how Mane and Salah were not first targets for Liverpool. But the main difference was the data churned out Mane and Salah, and we were so adamant about our strategy that Michael Edwards went, up against Klopp to make sure we signed them. Have we got a strategy if whoever we buy is 1 week into the season and only 2 weeks of the window to go?
That's kind of one of my problems with this, this kind of system now that we have in place where Klopp has so much power. I don't think there's actually anyone to kind of question him in terms of who he wants. And it's all like, Klopp has to really kind of give the send-off or give the confirmation, and then we kind of go for the player. So right now, I feel like we're seeing Klopp, have so much power and be in charge. So we don't really get another opinion. So we don't have a Michael Edwards to come and be like, no, I want Salah, not Julian Brandt.
A challenging voice, right?
We don't really have that right now. So whoever we kind of really go for, they will know that they're not Liverpool's first choice. But I guess it's up to them to really come in and have that chip on their shoulder and prove that, I'm the one for this club. I'm going to be the sixth of the future, and this is my club to be. So I know we've been linked to the likes of, Cheat the Doucouré from Crystal Palace. We've been linked to Sangare from PSV. We've been linked to Amrabat. We've been linked to Chris is signed at all these people, but we're linked to quite a whole host of names. I know Tyler Adams has gone to Bournemouth as well. It's interesting to see who we do go for. Kone and Thuram are also there, still in the market. So let's see.
Can I address this? I know it's addressed to Mush, but I just want to Total Clips. Big up Total Clips. He's a regular. He says, Mush, the fact is, whoever we get now is third or fourth choice, and it won't feel or hit the same. The excitement has all gone, to be honest with you. I can't give a shit about excitement and all that. I don't know what you guys think.
I need a functioning team. I don't care about excitement.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. See, guys, Total Clips, I love you, innit? But I don't care about this excitement and this first choice, second choice. I want the best. I want what we need. I couldn't give a shit if Chelsea done us and everyone's laughing at us. No problem. We laugh now. We celebrate later when we finish above them. That's it. As long as we get what we need by the end of the market. My fume and my anger and my frustration is going to go through the roof if we don't address it. But if we address it, the excitement's still going to be there because I know what we need. We need two minimum of at least one now. We're begging for one now, but please give us two nasty fuckers in midfield that are going to win the.
Grizz, do you know the other thing where you're spot on is that before they signed for Liverpool, what Total Eclipse is saying, I completely agree. They probably are going to be third or fourth choice. But I had no idea when Gini Wijnaldum joined Liverpool, I didn't know Liverpool needed Gini Wijnaldum. It wasn't number 1 to 10, on my priority list. I didn't know we needed Andy Robertson. So I am happy for a player to join where I have very little investment in emotionally. I might not even be happy with the signing. But my God, I support Liverpool Football Club first. If this player turns it around and proves to be important, I'm going to be even happier because it shows why I don't work in football and these guys do. And those are the players we want. Sure.
I mean, honestly, I don't care about names, about prices, about, as you said, Genie. Look at all the examples, bro. Come on. There must have been even us amongst you lot when Robertson signed. Must have thought, what? Are you serious? Yeah. Genie, Mane. People had reservations about Mane as well, People had reservations about Mane. People looking at
I was one of them.
There you go.
32 mil. I thought, what are we doing with that?
There you go. There you go. So, you know what I mean? I'm not about the price. I'm not about the name. I just need the profile of player that we're crying for, that we're desperate for. And I believe in the quality of the player that we usually recruit based on our strike rate, success rate, I should say. So just bring us a player and we'll be happy, man. I'm going to be excited. I don't know about, obviously, Total Eclipse is saying he's dead now. He don't want, even if you don't care who he signed now, he's finished. But I'm not like that.
The only thing I can agree with Total Eclipse is that we've missed out, me personally, on the best two options on the market. So I feel like then in that aspect, I see what he's saying because I genuinely feel like those two had the potential to be world class. And I don't think the rest of the targets on the market now who are natural sixes.
I disagree. I think you're doing Premier League bias, man. You're doing Premier League bias. Like, for example, Mo sends in a super chat. He says, Grizz, Florentino Luis is on the bench. The Benfica don't rate him, and Benfica sold Ramos for 60 million despite having 120 million. Luis is the one. I rate, for example, Florentino Luis. There is monsters on the market. I think we're just disappointed.
Is it correct to say there's only two good players in a position across the whole
I'm not
Europe?
I said world class, to be world class. Like Luis, he's only had one season in this Benfica team where it's been like amazing.
Lavia hasn't had one yet.
Caicedo.
I agree, but I'm saying we don't know yet. That's my thing. I haven't watched much of him to say, so I'm not going to comment on Florentino Luis. But in my opinion, those are the two best options. So, for example, now if we get like an Amrabat or we get like who else? Like we get Amrabat, we get Decore
from Southampton. What's the name? Decore from Palace.
Crystal Palace. I feel like they're functional players. They're not world class players. I think
but do they need to be though? Pete, can I ask you a question? When we were at our best, when we were at our best, did our midfield need to be incredible for us to be great?
No, it didn't need to be incredible, but I think we're playing a different way now. I don't think we're playing that way now where we have a front three who are amazing pressers. We have a front like Diaz, Nunes. These are not front guys who are.
But that's why we brought in Szoboszlai and McAllister to be different.
Yeah, so like if Szoboszlai can get 15 goals or whatever in all comps, if McAllister can play with that class, does the third guy, Krish, need to be the all-star player, or can he just be functional? Because I would argue Szoboszlai is better than what Henderson is. McAllister is a lot, more available than Thiago, probably a lot more adventurous and technical than someone like Gini, even though Gini did an amazing job. Does that third player need to be the best player in the market?
It doesn't, but what I will say is I saw the transformational effect that Fabinho had when he came into our midfield.
Which is fair. That is very fair.
And I think that's me being a bit spoilt in a way. How he, the way he was on the turn, the way he could win the ball back, his distribution. We've been spoilt with what was a world-class defensive midfielder for that long of time. And I think we all kind of look at how Manchester City play. We're kind of trying to replicate that in a sense. And we see what Rodri can do. We want that for ourselves. You know what I mean? We want someone who can, same physical profile, who can distribute the ball well. I mean, look at this season alone. I mean, granted, it was against Burnley. He's got a goal and an assist. And he also put in an unbelievable defensive shift too. So I think we benchmark ourselves against these different players. Now, it depends what you want. So if you want a Florentino Luis, I understand why people would do that because he's very good at what he does as a pure number 6. He does have adaptability issues in terms of some of the lower spells he's been on. So I think Getafe and Monaco. But I feel like from what we require in a number 6 and in a new modern number 6, kind of like Decore, what he can do, Kone, what we've seen him be able to do, and if you wanted to adapt to Ram and play him as a 6 just because of his physical profile, I feel like you could do that. But he's a pure 8. That's the only thing. He's a pure 8, and he'll probably be the first one to say that himself. It's difficult, man. But at this point, we've just got to kind of be like, this is the hand we've been dealt, right?
Yeah.
And we need someone functional, whether it be on a short-term basis, because, you know, footballers, like buses, they come every 5 minutes. Someone will be available. And they will develop themselves.
The talent pool never dries up.
Chris, you know the problem is, or not the problem? The weird thing is, guys, Lavia was supposed to be not for now. Do you get me? He was supposed to be for the next. So he was supposed to be a project. We ain't got the project, and we haven't got the now. Do you get it? Like Bajetic, people are saying, and like people know my controversial opinion on Bajetic.
What is it? What's your opinion?
Why
Grizz, I'm hoping, Grizz. Look, Pete knows
what I agree.
Pete knows what I think.
Peter, man, we could talk off air,
Grizz, I want to know what you're cooking because me and Pete have a quite similar opinion on Bajetic. So I want to see what you say.
Similar.
We have a similar. No, me and Peter do. We don't know what you think, so I want to see what your opinion is compared to ours.
I need to give context behind it. I don't think Stefan Bajetic is as good as some Liverpool fans make out.
Welcome to the brotherhood, my friend. Welcome.
We agree.
No. Hold on. Before we shake hands and people start slandering us, we're not slandering the kid.
No, not at all.
If he turns around,
he's 6 months into his career.
If he turns around and proves us wrong, I would love it.
Word to Kevin Keegan.
And he turns out to be a bad boy. I'll eat humble pie for the rest of my life during Ramadan, everything. I'm telling you, I'm ready for this guy to be the player that people think. But Mo sends in a super chat. He says this would be the ideal rest of the window. But
Mo's helping.
If this happened, I'd probably do the next stream nude. Just put it out there.
We need this to not happen.
But check this out.
Yeah, that's why you need it to not happen.
But guys, let's break this down though, right? Let's break this down money-wise, figure-wise. How much did we bid for Thingy Bob? 111.
Yeah.
So that means we got 110. Let's say 110 million. And we know we still can possibly sell Kelleher, Phillips, few bits and bobs. We know we can raise another 20, 30 million at least, right? That's 110. Add what? Let's say 140. How much is this? 50, 40, 90, 100, 120. That's around 145 million there.
Grizz, we're not even signing one player, and you're living in dream world about what we can do with 150 million.
But the math, I'm mathing though.
The maths is
I think the prices are a bit off though, so I think Luis might be a bit more, and Fofana might be a bit more.
Will be at 55.
Right, shut up, Itza. You've had too many pies already, man. Shut up.
Thuram and Inacio, I think, will be around that price. I think Inacio's got a release clause that.
Inacio with the release clause, it bubbles the mind why we haven't done that.
I have a great question though, which everyone in the comments, I want you all to be involved, not just the guys I'm talking to on video. I want everyone in the comments. I don't want any cop-outs. I don't want anyone in the fence. Nothing. All right? You all, I'm going to come to you guys one by one. You are all allowed to say only one defense. Now that Lavia and Caicedo are gone, you can only say one defensive midfielder that you think would do the best job in solving the current problem out of who is left in the market.
And how realistic does it have to be?
It has to be realistic enough for us to buy him.
Yeah.
Okay, but now what I'm saying, right, is if we buy this player, does it mean we still got coin for a centre back as well?
Forget. I'm saying forget the centre back. Okay, think of it like this.
No too many, Grizz. No too many.
We have to be strategic in it. Then what's the perimeters?
So look, everyone in the comments is getting going. Imagine this: we right now have 15 days left of the window. The biggest priority is a defensive midfielder. If you could get one defensive midfielder at Liverpool to help give us the best chance this season of being successful, who do you think it should be? Pete, I'll come to you first.
I would go with. I would go with Amrabat.
All right. Okay. I'm going to come back to you for why, but I want to just get names first because I don't want to give too long. Krish, who are you going for?
With great power comes with great responsibility.
Well, this is it, man. I'm still. Someone just said Gabriel Viega in the chat, and I just want to throw up a little bit. Yeah,
I saw Ndidi. I wanted to be sick, bro. I saw Ndidi. I said, "What?"
I'm stuck between two minds, but I'm gonna go for Fofana from Monaco.
Interesting. And everyone in the comments, if you've given a defensive midfielder that you think would be best at solving our problems right now, what I want you all to do is give me the reason why. So I want you to write that player, write a dash, and I want you to say why. Grizz, you've come back. Who is the player that you think does the best job?
Who did Mandem say?
We've got Fofana. Chris has gone for Fofana, and Pete has gone for what's it called? Who did you say again, Pete?
Amrabat.
That was it.
Oh, you went for Amrabat after all the
Grizz, who are you going for?
After all the choices. Fofana is my guy. Fofana is my guy, and people that have watched my rubbish over the years will know how much I love Yusuf Fofana for about a year now. But Fofana, the ones that are left, I'm going Florentino Luis, man. I just think he's a Fabinho regen. I genuinely believe people are not going to love him technically, but people are going to love his nastiness in the tackle, his lanky legs, that telescopic legs that Fabinho had.
Do you want to share some of the suggestions everyone's giving? Because I've asked everyone to give reasons why as well. We've got some really
we obviously give priority to the super chat. So Mo says Luis is being phased out and they sold Ramos the star striker 60 million. I know he's already done this. Oh, they bought Zakaria now 20 million max. People are saying Kimmich.
I don't think he's a DM, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I love him as a footballer. I'm just not sure he's a number 6.
Sleeping on this guy. People are sleeping on this guy. Everyone's ageist these days, yeah. Everyone
I like Paulinho. I like him.
He's a monster.
I like him. I actually like him.
Shouts for Zubimendi. He won't leave Sociedad.
Too Basque.
Yeah, he's too Basque. Obviously, we've been linked with that Andre from Brazil.
But he can't come until January anyway, right?
Even if he came, man, he's a small diminutive. Yeah, man, he's a small diminutive playmaker stroke, playing a double pivot.
Decore.
That's my guy.
That Fernando Redondo. That Fernando Redondo is an interesting shout. A lot of people have been talking about Redondo in terms of him being a good DM.
I am shocked he's not in Real Madrid, you know.
Julio Virgil says we'll get rejected by Amrabat as well.
Gosh.
Wait, check this one out, guys. This has been a topic of conversations in a couple of streams.
Yeah.
No,
Leon?
no.
What's happened to him?
No,
Leon,
no.
Whatever you're drinking this evening, Leon, I just hope you're having a good night.
2 seasons ago, NDD.
Do you know what? One thing I will say about Ndidi, do you think that Chelsea game revealed the fact that because McAllister is so good with the ball, we just need someone who can tackle?
That's what you're just saying.
Because all Ndidi can do is tackle.
It's the problem, though, guys. If we start doing that, when we play the top teams and we need to break a press, we need to, match their technical quality.
You don't need to play in that, though.
Who's going to play then?
Well, the rest of the ballers.
No, bro. That he'll be our starting 6. So my thing is that when we played Real Madrid, like all the times we played Real Madrid, Grizz, yeah, we'd always get outclassed by Modric, Cruz, and we'll never be able to get on the ball. So when you play these Madrids, these Chelseas of the world, even Cities, our technical quality was always lacking. So bringing someone like Ndidi, it can't work. Sorry.
I saw Ndidi get packed in by Coventry the other day as well. So it's a bit sticky.
Wow, fair enough.
Luis and Decore double pivot. Look, I think there's options there. I'm down because of the way we've been slapped by Chelsea this week. I'm down because of that. I'm down because of the way it's been played out in public and we got dealt with. Yeah, I'm down because I'm getting cussed on every platform. On every platform, I'm getting cussed. I'm going on Big 6 with Balaclava tomorrow. I'm contracted because I have to come on it. But it's for me right now, all right? But I'm not down until the window closes. I'm not out, until the window closes. I'm down, but I'm not out until the window closes. If the window closes and we're still chatting here and we're looking at each other and we're saying, yo.
But Grizz, I've got the final nail in the coffin of what I want to ask you. And I want to ask everyone in the comments, yeah? Based on what you've seen, based on what you know we have in the squad, whether it's a Jones, whether it's a Thiago, assuming they're fit, if we do not sign a defensive midfielder, what points total do you think we get to? Any of you can start. Pete, you can start. If we don't sign a defensive midfielder and we use the existing members of our squad, where do we get to this season?
I couldn't say a post. Maybe somewhere like late 60s.
We got 67 from David straight away. Someone said mid 50s.
We'd just be so leaky, and the best possible outcome would be probably Thiago playing there, or maybe McAllister playing there. But even still, they haven't got that athleticism to kind of, match and go toe-to-toe with other teams. Like, you imagine we play someone like Newcastle away with about a 6. That could be quite spooky. Playing like Brighton away without a proper 6, that could be spooky again. So, we need that signing, and we need that signing ASAP. It's not even like a question. We have to get someone in. We have to.
I don't know about points. Much, that's way too technical for me. My brain don't work. I'll give you a position.
What objectives can we achieve?
If we don't sign a 6,
if we don't sign a 6, and let's say Thiago has to play there, or Bajcetic has to play there, or whatever,
and as compared to if we do sign one of the names that we've mentioned,
yes, I'm just asking, if we don't sign, what does this season become?
Becomes a pure roller coaster. Pure roller coaster. I'm telling you now, ups and downs. We're gonna have mad games where we thrash a team 5-1, and then we're gonna get turned over 3-2 by Bournemouth away, or something like that. It's gonna be madness. If we don't sign a prominent number 6, before the end of the season, we're finishing 6th. No higher than 6th, in my opinion. I can name you 5 teams, bang, bang, bang. In fact, that segues into a super chat from Newcastle fan Philippe. He says, I'm looking forward to playing you on the 27th with no DM. Unless you get one and a left-sided centre-back before then, I'm predicting a big win for Newcastle. I think a lot of people had a big win for Newcastle last time as well. But I hear it. I get it.
It's all right. I saw what happened the last time we went to St. James's. You keep
Alexander says, interested in the CDMs, yeah, each would love to go for Eric Martel. Don't know him, man. It's a new name. From FC Cologne, a 6'2" strong CDM, 21 years old for 30 million. Looks great. Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that one. And lastly, El Emirati says, Ava Labe, we will be back. Don't worry, inshallah. Hope so, bro.
Inshallah, man. I'm saying it louder than it. Look at Pete. Pete's on his knees right now.
Man, please.
But boys, I think that is such an interesting thing, because it's like all of our positivity is so limited. But I do feel like everyone here in this conversation right now, I think the moment we sign a number 6 and we see him have one competent performance, I think we go back to celebrating everything that the rest of this squad is capable of. Chris, is that where you're sitting? It's almost like he's potentially the one who can unlock all the other talent that exists within this squad.
We saw the team goal on Sunday. We saw some of the football we were able to play from an attacking point of view. You get a very good number 2 guys who can kind of interchange when the scenario kind of like sees itself. We can go far. If we don't do that, we're capped at what we can do. Severely handicapped. But look, we just got to have faith, trust in a power much higher than ourselves that we'll kind of get this done from the end of the window, really.
Yeah. Grizz, where are you sitting on that? Are you just, like you said, your faith, you said it yourself, until this window closes, if you see that movement in the window you want to see, that prediction of 6th, what does that flip to if it's a good defensive midfielder?
Bro, automatically we finished above all this dross like United and whatnot. Automatically. I know that for a fact. And that's our thing, innit? That's our aim. Unfortunately, because it is a transition season. Unfortunately, as no people don't like it, and we shouldn't be in a transition season under Jurgen Klopp when he's only got 2 years after this. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But if we bring in a competent beast of a DM, I still think we'll be the closest challengers to see. I don't think we've got the capabilities of topping them this season, unfortunately. But it's important that we bring in this beast so at least we can utilize the skills and talents of the rest of the squad, like you might have been saying.
Yeah, and I think that, and this is at the end of the day, whether we have a defensive midfielder or not, the fixtures do not stop, and we have a game. We're at Anfield. I've seen some comments about, we're back at the ground, exciting times. Pete, we're seeing Liverpool back at Anfield, Bournemouth at home. Bournemouth, who are not a bad side by any means. What do you think? What do you think we're expecting to see?
I'm expecting to see our attack and talent on display. I feel, especially being at Anfield, that will give the players a buzz. They should be gassed to be, back at Anfield, the start of a new season, their first appearance there. And I just feel like that our attack should be proved to be too much. That's one thing that I know we've been down and we've been a bit depressed about our midfield, and our defense has looked a bit leaky at times. But our attack, I'm confident in our attack, and I truly think our attack is the best in the league, or either up there with City's, because we have the depth, and it should be a lot of goals in that game. And I'm expecting people like Salah to bag. Salah's going to be itching, by the way. He got taken off of Ben Doak through a strop. Rightly so.
Angry Salah is a dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's going to be itching to put that right against Bournemouth. He's got a fantastic record against Bournemouth anyway. So the likes of Jota will want to come back after not a great performance. Diaz as well will be confident. Nunez, they've all got something to prove, really. They all want to have that starting spot. To be honest, only Salah really has that starting spot. All the rest have got something to prove. So I feel like our attack should be a bit too much for Bournemouth, and we should win that game.
And Krish, I mean, we've talked about Thiago and Bajcetic. We're obviously they started preseason very late, as recently as last week, really, probably about 10, 11 days in now. Do you think they're going to start becoming, in contention for this game, or do you think it comes a week or two early for them?
I think it might be a bit too soon for both of them.
And what would you go for as a lineup because of that? Sorry, I should have asked that as well.
I think you got to make a decision between Gakpo or Jota. Kind of put Curtis Jones in there, because we saw, when we had that functioning midfielder in that system, I think he'll probably go with a 4-3-3 as opposed to box midfield. I don't think you want to do the box midfield against Bournemouth. They've got some really powerful midfielders. I mean, I don't want to see Philip Billings running around. They're really good, man. I mean, they've got good guys like Dango Ouattara and stuff like that. I don't want to see Philip Billing running like the Ultimate Warrior down the pitch, like he was in that game towards the end of last season. But no, it should be an exciting one, man. The Anfield will be rocking, and we got to pick ourselves off. We've gone from the high of Friday from a transfer sense, and we've kind of been battered and bruised. But we came away with a very good, well-earned point at Stamford Bridge. We just got to keep building on this positive momentum and keep riding it. That's all we can do. Yeah,
man. And Grizz, I thought you would be the man to come to. The Anfield hits different, man. It's a different feeling walking out. The song, the ground, new stand as well. It's just growing. The atmosphere is going to be loud. Everyone's going to be excited. How are you feeling about seeing the boys in our famous cathedral?
I mean, look, we're despondent, innit? It's Monday. You know what I mean? After the couple of days we've had, and we're going to be despondent. Let's not be around the bush. For the next 2-3 days, we're still going to be moody, taking it out on family members and the close associates. Man, don't talk.
I've already had an argument with my missus today.
There you go.
All right now. But,
there you go. But come closer to the game day. You know what I mean? It's going to get lively again, innit? And we're going to want to put on a show. I know we smashed them 9-0 last time we played them. Of course, we dream of another 9-0, but, they're going to have, obviously, nightmares by that. They don't want to be another 9-0 drubbing. It's going to be hard. But like Pete said, man, we've got the firepower to put them away in the hot, hopefully a blistering start, and just put them to bed, man. And hopefully by then we've got a player in, man. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, even though we're not kids, we're not just demanding new toys. We're actually demanding something that the fucking team needs.
Key pieces. Yeah. This is nothing to do with being spoiled.
Nothing being greedy or spoiled. So we're begging people to pull out something at the bag. Just a couple of super chats. I know you probably want to wrap up now. It's hard right now, Grizz and Cole in Klopp. We'll pull it out of the bag, even if it's on deadline day. But I don't want it to go deadline day. I don't want it to go deadline day.
We've got 2 games before then. I don't want it to go to deadline day.
I don't think my mental health can deal with it going to deadline day.
Man, we can't do a deadline day, man. LV sends in the series, big up Grizz. LFC approved tweeted, Juan Ramelli is our friend. Any idea who he is? Agent, scout.
So he's
Juan-
Alexis McAllister's agent, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, he's also, if I remember rightly, the guy that brought Coutinho to us. So I don't know what that means or what the link is about that. Sorry,
Interesting.
but that's all I know. But yeah, I'm excited. Come Sunday, is it Sunday or Saturday? Saturday we play, I think, this time round. We just need to get a win under our belt, and then suddenly 4 points out of 2 with Chelsea away already dealt with gives us a bit of something.
Yeah, and it gives you something to take into the Newcastle game as well.
Yeah,
after
that one is going to be. Yeah.
I'm ready for it, man. I saw
Okay.
some holes. Villa did play well. I know the scoreline says otherwise, but the game was tight for a long time.
Okay.
But there's the good thing is by that point, anyone who is listening, if you haven't pressed like, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't subscribed to the KopEnd, feed, you should be involved. Give Grizz and the channel one more like before you go. Show some love. It's been an awesome kickoff. And if Grizz hasn't said, if I haven't said already, the show is every 2 weeks. The reason why we wanted to every 2 weeks is because, like you guys have been fantastic in the comment section, we want lots of stuff to talk about. And in 2 weeks' time, we would have 2-3 games, some signings, some more players coming back to fitness. Going to be a fantastic way of covering Liverpool because there's going to be lots to talk about. Sometimes you talk too much when you talk every day. So every 2 weeks is the perfect way to engage. So
actually,
Pete,
shall we say if there's enough love shown in the comments after the video, and if there's enough love shown, we can make it once a week. If there's enough love shown,
we serve the people. So
100%.
listen,
Gotta give them
people,
what they
you
want,
let us know. Yeah, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know on the Insta. Let us know on the YouTube. Let us know on the Twitter. We will always respond to what you guys want. Thank you so much, everyone. And Grizz, thank you, my brother.
No problem, man. It's good. We needed a bit of a therapy session amongst friends.
Yeah,
It's always good, man. You know what I mean? I don't know about you guys, but I feel a little bit better. You know what? My headache's gone.
That's the start. That's the start.
I swear, my headache's gone. I was fuming. It might have been the cookie, or it might have been you. We'll never know.
Nice. and Chris, debut pod here. Well, pod debut show. The comp is going to be one to remember. What a performance to start off with.
Was it one touch?
Yeah, one touch around the corner.
You know me, man. I come in and I make an instant impact. Hopefully like Liverpool's new DM when he comes in.
Yeah.
You know, man. I love podding with some of my favorite people, and to kind of bring Grizz into the family and become part of his family too. What a better way to kick it off.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, wicked.
Definitely.
Yo, man, what's this, man?
Go on.
Someone's saying, hold on 1 second. I got free dinner on the hair, man. Where's it gone, man? I don't miss a free dinner. 1 second. Someone said, yo, Grizz, if you're in Luton, let's go for a munch something. Hold on.
Yeah, my treat, bro.
Bro,
it's from Mabs. It's from Mabs. Grizz, let's do lunch in Luton.
Bro, lunch. Yeah, man, I'm there already, bro. Just tell me. I'm already there.
I'm not far either, bro. I'm not shameless.
Yeah,
I'm shameless.
But I'll drive all the way down for a free lunch, man.
Peter, I don't want to miss you out, Pete. Amazing as always. Passionate. You look very stressed, my brother. I'm hoping to see you in better spirits the next time we see you again on the camera, man.
I will say I do feel a little bit lighter. That's what I'll say. I feel a little bit lighter.
There you go.
Yeah, guys can see I'm very stressed. That this window has just got me. It's just got me heated, but I feel lighter. I feel good that I've talked out of my boys and yeah. If I've got like a little comp, a pretty one come my way comp, send them to me. Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy. I thought it's going well, and yeah, I've enjoyed it, boys. Enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well, I think we'll call it a night for now. Thank you everyone again for your support. This is just the start. It's a big season ahead. Keep an eye out for each of us on our private, our personal accounts as well. We're going to be communicating lots, and maybe this will go from weekly to bi-weekly. We don't know. This could go anywhere. We are always here for you. So thank you very much.